Hi students, I welcome you all to the sixth session of the chapter Atoms. In this session, we are going to solve some numerical problems related to atoms. Before we start solving the problems, we need to learn a simple topic called distance of closest approach. By this time, we have learned the trajectory of alpha particles when the alpha particles are projected towards the target nucleus. We also know that different alpha particles get scattered through different scattering angles. As we can see in the picture, this is the target nucleus. This is the target nucleus. These are all number of alpha particles which are projected towards the target nucleus. The trajectory of alpha particles depends on a quantity called impact parameter. It is represented as B. Impact parameter is nothing but the perpendicular distance between the initial velocity vector and the center of the nucleus. It's called impact parameter. Trajectory depends on impact parameter. In alpha particle scattering experiment, we have seen the observations. The observations are most of the alpha particles pass straight through the gold foil. And second observation is few alpha particles suffer large deflections, sometimes very near to 180 degree. Also, 1 out of 8,000 alpha particles was returned back. What I mean is the alpha particle which is directed towards the nucleus, that is for head-on collision, it gets deflected through 180 degree. Now we are going to learn in detail the head-on collision of the alpha particle with the target nucleus. Now in this picture you can see this is the alpha particle which is ready for head-on collision with the nucleus. As we can see, this is the nucleus, this is positively charged, this is alpha particle which is also positively charged. The charge carried by the alpha particle is 2e, that is plus 2e. The charge carried by the nucleus in general is Ze, where Z is nothing but atomic number. So both are positively charged particles. Nucleus is at rest, alpha particle is projected towards the nucleus and it is going to make head-on collision with the nucleus. Initially, the alpha particle has energy, what we call as kinetic energy, because of its velocity. As this alpha particle, which is going to make head-on collision with the nucleus, moves towards the target nucleus, its speed decreases because both are positively charged particles. They repel each other. The alpha particle is going to cover some distance. It comes to rest. When it comes to rest, the entire kinetic energy is converted into potential energy according to law of conservation of energy. And at that time, when the alpha particle comes to rest and reverses its direction, the distance between the center of the alpha particle and the nucleus, center of the nucleus, we call as distance of closest approach. Now we will see in the animation how exactly alpha particle bounces back when it reaches the nucleus, target nucleus. We will see once again. So as the alpha particle moves towards the nucleus, target nucleus, it comes to rest, its speed decreases, comes to rest, and again it is going to reverse its direction. When it comes to rest, at that time we have to stop. We have to measure the distance between the center of the alpha particle and the nucleus, that we call as distance of closest approach. At that distance, the kinetic energy, initial kinetic energy of the alpha particle is converted into potential energy. Now we'll see how exactly it comes to rest. Yes, at this point of time, the alpha particle comes to rest. So we have to measure the distance between the center of the alpha particle and the center of the nucleus, that is this distance. This distance we call as distance of closest approach. As we can see, when the alpha particle reaches the distance of closest approach d, its entire initial kinetic energy will be converted into potential energy. So initial kinetic energy is equal to potential energy. Now what is the formula for initial kinetic energy? We know, let us take it as K, that is converted to potential energy. Potential energy is nothing but work done. Work done is force into distance. Force here is nothing but Coulomb force. Distance is d, so that is nothing but K equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by d square into d. D cancels with one of the d. The remaining equation is K equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2e, that is q1. Q1 is nothing but charge on the alpha particle, that is 2e. Q2 is nothing but charge on the nucleus, Ze, and distance is distance between the nucleus and the alpha particle, d. So here K is initial kinetic energy, here d is nothing but distance of closest approach. From this equation we can obtain the formula for d, that is if we interchange K and d here, we will get d equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2e Ze by K. So this is the formula for distance of closest approach for head-on collision. Now let us recall some of the formulae that we have already derived. The first one is, we know that the radius of the electron in the nth orbit is given by this formula, Rn is equal to a0 n square by z. A0 is called Bose radius. For hydrogen atom, Z is equal to 1. So if you substitute, we will get Rn is equal to a0 n square. Rn is nothing but radius of the nth orbit of the electron. A0 is Bose radius. N is nothing but principal quantum number. Now for the first orbit, n is equal to 1. Therefore R1 is equal to a0 because n is equal to 1. For the second orbit, n is equal to 2. That is R2 is equal to 4 into a0. Similarly, for third orbit, n is equal to 3, R3 is equal to 9 a0. So we are going to get this relation R1 is to R2 is to R3 is equal to 1 is to 4 is to 9. This we have to remember. Now the second point is, orbital speed of the electron in the nth orbit is given by, we already derived this formula, V is equal to Ze square divided by 2n epsilon naught h. Now as we can see, Z is atomic number, E is charge on the electron, 2 is constant, epsilon naught is also constant, h is also constant. So we can write V proportional to 1 by n, that is velocity or speed of the electron in the orbit, in the nth orbit, depends on principal quantum number and it's inversely proportional to principal quantum number. Now we can get the relation V1 is to V2 is equal to 2 is to 1. That is V1 proportional to 1 by 1, V2 proportional to 1 by 2. So velocity of the electron in the first orbit is double the velocity of the electron in the second orbit. Now third point is, energy of the electron in the nth orbit is given by this formula, En is equal to minus m e power 4 divided by 8 epsilon square h square z square by n square. Or we can also write like this, because here m is mass of the electron constant, E is charge on the electron, that is also constant, epsilon naught is permittivity of free space, that is also constant, h is Planck's constant. So if you simplify this, you will get minus 13.6 z square by n square. Energy is in terms of electron volt. This equation we already derived. The next one is, kinetic energy of the electron in the nth orbit is given by, as you know, K equal to Ze square divided by 8 pi epsilon naught r. Potential energy is given by U is equal to minus Ze square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r, and the total energy is given by E equal to minus Ze square divided by 8 pi epsilon naught r. So if we analyze these three equations, that is kinetic energy, potential energy and total energy, we will come to know that U is equal to minus 2K. That is, potential energy is minus 2 times the kinetic energy. If you see the relation, we will come to know about this. This is the relation between kinetic energy and potential energy. This is the relation between total energy and potential energy. U is equal to 2E and kinetic energy is negative of total energy. If you analyze these three equations, you'll get these three relations. Now let us solve some numerical problems related to atoms. Now let us see the first problem. The first problem is a problem in NCERT book. What is the shortest and longest wavelength present in the Paschen series of spectral lines? Now by this time you know that for Paschen series, the transition has to take place from N2 greater than or equal to 4 to N1 is equal to 3. We are going to get Paschen series. So when photon is emitted, the wavelength of the photon is given by 1 by lambda is equal to RH into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. Now if you want to get shortest, first there are two parts here. You have to calculate shortest as well as longest wavelength. So for shortest wavelength, frequency must be highest. So to get highest frequency, what you have to do is now let us start with the first problem. So this is the first problem. This is a problem in NCERT book, exercise problem. What is the shortest and longest wavelength present in the Paschen series of spectral lines? Now as we know by this time, for Paschen series, transition has to take place from n greater than or equal to 4 to n is equal to 3. To get the shortest wavelength, the frequency must be highest. So transition has to take place from n is equal to infinity to n is equal to 3 to get shortest wavelength in Paschen series. Now as we know, the formula for wavelength of emitted radiation, general formula is given by 1 by lambda is equal to RH into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. As we know, lambda is wavelength of emitted radiation, RH is Rydberg constant, and its value is 1.097 into 10 power 7 per meter. So here in this problem, to get shortest wavelength present in Paschen series, N1 must be equal to 3, N2 must be equal to infinity. So if you substitute N1 is equal to 3 and N2 is equal to infinity, in this formula we'll end up with this equation. Now 1 by infinity square is 0. So 1 by lambda is 1.097 into 10 power 7 into 1 by 9. That is this equation. Now lambda is equal to 9 divided by 1.097 into 10 power 7 by taking reciprocal. So we'll end up with lambda equal to 8.204 into 10 power minus 7 meters. But generally, wavelength of light is expressed in terms of nanometer. Nano represents 10 power minus 9. So in terms of nanometer, it is 820.4 nanometer. This is the shortest wavelength present in Paschen series of spectral lines. Now we have to calculate longest wavelength. For calculation of longest wavelength present in Paschen series, N1 must be equal to 3 and N2 must be equal to 4. So transition has to take place from N equal to 4 to N is equal to 3. Now that is what is shown here. To get longest wavelength, frequency of emitted photon in the given series must be low. To get the longest wavelength in Paschen series, N1 is equal to 3 and N2 is equal to 4. Now if you substitute N1 and N2 in this formula, we will get 1 by lambda is this much, 1.097 into 10 power 7 into 1 by 9 minus 1 by 16. That is nothing but 1 by lambda equal to 1.097 into 10 power 7. So 9 divided by 144 if you simplify this. Now lambda, if you take the reciprocal, you will get this value. Then if you, after simplification, you will get lambda equal to 1458.5 nanometer, 1458.5 nanometer. So this is the longest wavelength present in Paschen series. Now let us solve the next problem. That is second problem. And this is the second problem. A difference of 2.3 electron volt separates two energy levels in an atom. What is the frequency and wavelength of radiation emitted when the atom make a transition from the upper level to the lower level? By this time we know that when electron transition takes place from upper level to the lower level, photon is emitted. That photon emitted has a energy which is equal to energy difference between the upper level and lower level. The energy difference is 2.3 electron volt. That is what is given in the problem. Now by this time we know that frequency of emitted photon h nu is nothing but difference between the two energy levels. H nu is equal to En2 minus En1. Now En2 minus En1, it's given in the problem, it is 2.3 electron volt. Electron volt, we know that 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 joules. So we have to convert electron volt into joules because joule is the SI unit of energy. That is what is done here. En2 minus En1 is equal to 2.3 into, in place of electron volt, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. This must be equal to h nu. So h nu is equal to 2.3 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So if you substitute for h and if you simplify, you will get frequency of emitted photon. So nu is equal to 2.3 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Now this term, that is h value, it will go to the denominator, 6.62 into 10 power minus 34. Now after simplification, we will get 5.55 into 10 power 14 hertz. So this is nothing but frequency of emitted photon. Now we need to calculate wavelength also. Wavelength can be easily calculated because we know c is equal to nu lambda. C is velocity of light, nu is frequency, lambda is wavelength of radiation emitted. Using that formula we can calculate wavelength of radiation emitted. So as we can see, wavelength of emitted photon is calculated using the formula lambda is equal to c by nu, because c equal to nu lambda. So lambda is equal to 3 into 10 power 8, that is nothing but speed of light, and nu just we have calculated frequency is 5.55 into 10 power 14. So after calculation we will end up with 0.54 into 10 power minus 6 meters. In terms of nanometer, it is 540 nanometer. Now let us solve the third problem. This is the third one. The ground state energy of hydrogen atom is minus 13.6 electron volt. What are the kinetic and potential energies of the electron in this state? Now here it is given, this is minus 13.6 electron volt is nothing but total energy of the electron in the ground state. That is, when the electron is in ground state, that is n is equal to 1. This is the energy. We have to calculate what are the kinetic and potential energy of the electron. Now as we know, there are relations for kinetic energy, for potential energy and total energy. As we know, kinetic energy is given by this formula, K equal to Z E square divided by 8 pi epsilon naught R. This equation is already derived. Potential energy is given by U equal to minus Z E square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R. And if you add these two, we will get total energy, that is given by E is equal to minus Z E square divided by 8 pi epsilon naught R. As we know, there are equations connecting kinetic energy, potential energy and total energy. K equal to minus E and U equal to 2E. K is kinetic energy, is nothing but total energy. If you analyze these equations, we'll come to know that K equal to minus E, K is nothing but kinetic energy, is total energy, and U equal to 2E, U is potential energy and E is total energy. Using these two relations, we can calculate this problem. Now as K equal to minus E, K equal to minus of minus 13.6, because total energy of the electron is given. So kinetic energy is 13.6 electron volt. If it is asked in terms of SI units, you have to substitute 1 electron volt equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 joule. So we'll get kinetic energy in terms of joules. Now as you know, potential energy is 2 times the total energy. So U equal to 2 times the total energy minus 13.6, which is equal to minus 27.2 electron volt. So this is the total energy. Whatever is given is total energy. Kinetic energy is 13.6 electron volt and potential energy is minus 27.2 electron volt. Now let us solve one more problem. This is the fourth problem. A hydrogen atom initially in the ground level absorbs a photon which excites it to n is equal to 4 level. Determine the wavelength and frequency of photon. By this time we know that to excite the atom, the electron has to go from one level to higher level. Now here a photon excites the electron in the ground state to excited state of principal quantum number n is equal to 4. So a photon of right energy, right frequency and wavelength has to be absorbed. Now we have to determine what is the wavelength and frequency of the absorbed photon. As you know, here n1 is equal to 1 and n2 is equal to 4. Now for hydrogen atom, wavelength of the absorbed photon is given by this formula. This formula we already derived. 1 by lambda is equal to RH into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. Here RH is nothing but Rydberg constant. Its value is 1.097 into 10 power 7 per meter. And in this problem, n1 is equal to 1. N2 is equal to 4. Now if we substitute, we will get 1 by lambda equal to 1.097 in 10 power 7 into 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 4 square. So if we simplify, 1 by lambda equal to 1.097 into 10 power 7. So numerator will be 15 and denominator will be 16. So if we take the reciprocal, lambda equal to 16 divided by 1.097 into 10 power 7 into 15. That is lambda equal to 0.972 into 10 power minus 7 meters. So as we know, we have to express wavelength of light in terms of nanometer. So in terms of nanometer, it is 97.2 nanometer. This is the wavelength of the photon that is absorbed. Now we have to calculate frequency. Frequency can be easily calculated using the formula C equal to nu lambda. So as we know, nu equal to C lambda. Nu equal to C is nothing but 3 into 10 power 8 and lambda just we have calculated 97.2 nanometer, that is 97.2 into 10 power minus 9. So if we make calculations, we will get 30.86 into 10 power 14 hertz. So this is the frequency of the absorbed photon. Dear students, now we have reached the end of this session. We will continue solving problems in the next session. To get notification to my videos, please press subscriber button. Thank you for watching.